I said it, be quiet. I was only saying hi to the guys. Be quiet. Face the wall. Turn around. Turn around. Move, sir. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
All right, we're fighting all the time, and guys getting dropped all the time, and that was just the kind of gym that I was in.
But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
Joe Rogan reacts to
rumors surrounding Jake Paul's alleged arrest over claims that boxing matches were scripted. Rogan emphasizes that no career achievement is worth risking one's life. He cautions that boxing is extremely dangerous and should never be taken lightly. According to reports, Rogan feels Paul needs to seriously rethink his choices before returning to the ring, as chasing fame or money through high-risk fights is not worth the possible consequences.
Probably seen some of the controversy he's been.
Joe Rogan stressed that boxing is an extremely dangerous sport and that fighting recklessly can lead to serious consequences. He also warned that taking part in illegal or scripted practices could result in legal action against a fighter.
You can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think. And
Akisa Bidarian clarified that neither Jake Paul nor his team were involved in any wrongdoing or attempt to rig the fight. He addressed the widespread rumors, claiming the bout with Anthony Joshua was scripted, calling them completely false. According to Bidarian, people online made shocking claims, including posts suggesting there was an agreement for Joshua not to knock out Paul. He explained that Joshua fought for real and finished the fight decisively, with no regard for any alleged deal. Bidarian emphasized that Jake trained seriously, competed honestly, and took real risks in the ring. He also revealed that legal action is being pursued against individuals spreading these false narratives. For Bidarian, this clarification is essential to protect the reputations of Jake and his team, making it clear to fans and critics that the fight was legitimate, unscripted, and that any claims of a fixed outcome are completely baseless.
This, that, and the other. Do you think now, at the very least, that talk goes away? Broke his jaw, went in there against Anthony Joshua. At the very least, do you think that you guys can move on from that? Like, that won't follow you?
No, I don't. I actually, our lawyers are actively going after a number of people. One who claims to be a lawyer himself online. I don't remember the name or the handle, but it was something that had like 200,000 likes. And basically this post said there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake, but AJ disregarded the agreement and decided to not get his payday, but knock out Jake Paul. So it's pretty astonishing what people say. Your dear friend Lou DiBella saw him put up a bunch of ridiculous things and even said, Nikisa, go ahead and sue me. But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
And so for the people, again, just to clear this up, because I asked Eddie this question, I'll ask you the exact same question. Once and for all, was there any sort of arrangement as far as it should go this many rounds? Because that's the one that I've heard. Oh, Anthony agreed to 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Can you tell us in black and white if there were any talks of any kind between the network, the promotion, the fighter?
There has never once in Jake Paul's career been any talk of that sort, of anything to do with the fight being anything but a real fight that has exactly the same situation as any professional fight. And that's exactly the same thing here for the Anthony Joshua fight. It's just beyond mind-blowing that people would think that. Anthony Joshua was on record saying that if he didn't finish him in the first round, that would be disappointing, that it would be a failure. The narrative changed as we got closer to fight night and obviously post-fight, and I understand why, but they were pretty adamant it would take.
Joe Rogan has previously warned Jake Paul not to do anything reckless like this again. He strongly advised him to rethink taking high-risk boxing matches, stressing that no career milestone is worth risking one's life. Rogan emphasized that the dangers inside the ring are very real and that pursuing staged or dangerous fights for fame or money can lead to serious consequences. For any fighter, safety and responsibility must always come first.
Look at all them celebrities like dude from the Mighty Ducks, the little boy actor that got strung out on drugs. And all his fronts and all his teeth were missing from being on meth or whatever, whatever drug of choice he was on. There's no coming back from that. The people who dissipate their teeth through drug usage, you don't get a second set. So if I'm not mistaken, the dude from Mighty Ducks, somebody like he's been clean, and they gave him a makeover, and he has like pretty much fake teeth. So yeah, the teeth are gonna be cooked. Now, I agree with the other part that Rogan was saying, but let's keep going.
I think he went into that fight knowing that was probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it and that he could do well for a little bit.
Yeah, and I've already expressed my thoughts on this. I'm not giving no props for a person who says I am a real deal boxer because I went in and get smashed and got my jaw broken, but I lasted longer than Ngannou. But I was crazy enough to try, because to be honest, we're way past the honeymoon stage with a person like Jake Paul. You've been in this for long enough to go through fight camps, dedicate your time, effort, energy, money, spar with people. You spar with some quality names because you have resources and money or whatever. So we're well past that, to the point where you just get credit for stepping in. You maybe got credit your first fight or whatever, first couple of fights, for coming from your background and, you know, stepping in and fighting, but we're well past that. You have a box rec. You were being ranked by sanctions.
Eddie Hearn offered a detailed breakdown of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, highlighting the careful planning behind every move in the ring. He explained that the bout unfolded exactly according to strategy, with Joshua's team focusing on patience and controlled aggression rather than reckless punches. The plan was to break Jake Paul down methodically, exposing weaknesses and testing his stamina before landing decisive shots. Hearn emphasized that this calculated approach represents true professional boxing, where success depends on discipline, timing, and tactics instead of raw power alone. Every phase of the fight was designed to maintain control while slowly asserting dominance, showing how smart strategy often outweighs brute strength. According to Hearn, this approach not only secured the win, but also showcased boxing as an intelligent, tactical sport where measured execution and smart decisions define champions and separate experienced fighters from newcomers.
The fight, I'm going to break him down and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, arms. I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing. And actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mum said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
No, I was very sad because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef, and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round. Yeah. So, no, I'll give Jake respect. And, yeah. Sorry, Jake's mum doesn't like me.
Adam Catterall delivered a direct and candid assessment of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, highlighting the imbalance modern boxing faces when popularity drives matchmaking. He argued that Jake Paul's rapid rise in the sport is fueled far more by social media fame and celebrity appeal than by true technical ability or in-ring experience. According to Catterall, even while clearly holding back his full power, Anthony Joshua showed exceptional control, timing, and precision, landing punches that caused real damage and exposed the wide gap in class between the two fighters. This contrast fueled speculation that parts of the bout may have been shaped by outside influences rather than purely competitive factors. Rumors suggested that Jake Paul attempted to control or influence the pace of the fight to reduce risk and protect appearances, reflecting broader concerns about celebrity boxing prioritizing spectacle over authenticity. Catterall's observations underline how hype-driven matchups can undermine competitive integrity, shifting focus away from skill, strategy, and the traditional values that define professional boxing.
Ability, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed.
Yeah.
And with the punch you said that he landed, it's not his best punch,
It's
his
an arm
most
punch,
powerful
mate.
punch,
It's an
right?
arm punch.
Yep. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is. But I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as
Mate,
what I could have.
there should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, athletic commissions, like you
Well,
said,
it wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize
Yes.
fight. It was an event. Anthony, if Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his... Because
Yeah, it's a professional boxing
do you know what? If I was Anthony Joshua, I would be saying, I don't want that on my record.
Well,
But for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, no, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight. And I found it, I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like...
Beat Jake Paul.
Well, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, beat Jake Paul. But so
But what I'm saying is that was the 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion, it's a very...
Sam Jones gave a blunt and unfiltered reaction to the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, saying it was difficult to watch not because of violent exchanges, but due to the obvious technical flaws on display. He pointed out that Jake Paul struggled with boxing fundamentals, including basic defense, proper footwork, and reacting effectively to Joshua's combinations. These repeated mistakes created a clear imbalance throughout the bout, exposing the wide gap in experience and skill. Some observers felt certain moments looked almost rehearsed, as if the action was subtly controlled to limit risk for both fighters. While Jake Paul clearly invested serious time in training, Jones suggested that the mismatch in ability and ring intelligence, along with perceived hints of managed pacing, made the fight uncomfortable for viewers expecting true competitive tension. Ultimately, the bout highlighted the dangers of blending celebrity appeal with professional boxing, showing how spectacle can overshadow skill and authenticity, leaving fans questioning the legitimacy of fights where entertainment and competition intersect so openly.
Out and breaking Jake Paul's jaw. Just talk to me right now about the fight itself, and then we'll break it down.
Bit of a crap fight, if we're all honest. It was like watching Jaws 2 when all the kids went out on their boats and they were in the middle of the sea, and the shark was just surrounding the boat, just like that's what it was like. It was just like a shark circling its prey, and just like it was like nibbling, and eventually got him. But Jake Paul showed big plums in there, no matter what anybody says about him, because I've seen people say, yeah, he went in there to survive. Yeah, okay, he went in there to survive. He's a guy that's been boxing a couple of years against a unified champion of the world who can really punch. It wasn't the best fight. It just wasn't the best thing to watch, was it? Like it was just, it weren't great. I just want to see now Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. I think at the stages of their careers they're at, AJ and Tyson Fury, we don't need to see interim fights, Andrew. We don't need to see interim fights because they're just potential banana skins. We want to see two of the best heavyweights of this era going at it.
Following the fight, Luke Thomas emerged as a critical voice, questioning the positive attention Jake Paul received. He stressed that stepping into the ring with a world-class fighter like Anthony Joshua should not be celebrated without careful scrutiny. Thomas argued that the spectacle surrounding the match overshadowed the real dangers involved. Observers speculated that Paul's pre-fight confidence, along with certain in-ring behaviors, fueled rumors that he attempted to script parts of the bout. Thomas warned that celebrating such contests sets a risky precedent, blurring the line between genuine competition and entertainment.
Kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make the point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. people were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and that this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches, partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally tripping over himself, and he realized he just can't keep this up. So there was that. But people were acting like, how could this be? How could this have happened? Guys, on Friday's MK, and then before that, earlier in the week on Submission Radio, they asked me on Submission Radio, how do you think he's gonna fight? And I'm like, he's gonna run. And they're like, you don't think he's gonna clinch? I'm like, okay, he'll clinch at times, but then the rest of the time he's going to run. What other way was this going to go? What other way?
Chael Sonnen voiced strong criticism of the match, emphasizing that fights like this are far too risky to take place under normal circumstances. He described the contest as feeling less like a genuine boxing competition and more like a struggle for survival, where both physical and reputational stakes were dangerously high. Sonnen pointed out that inexperienced fighters stepping into the ring with elite professionals put themselves in life-threatening situations. Rumors of scripting by Jake Paul, combined with these high-risk matchups, only amplify the problem. According to Sonnen, the growing trend of blending celebrity with sport undermines the integrity of boxing while unnecessarily endangering participants. Analysts noted that Paul's approach during the fight seemed unusually cautious at times, prompting questions about his intentions. While some saw this as a careful strategy, others speculated that certain moments appeared choreographed to let Joshua dominate without taking extreme risks. This aligns with reports suggesting Paul attempted to manage the pacing and sequences to protect himself while maximizing entertainment value.
That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there, and he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition, and then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. He was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting. These guys were fighting. Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through, not even kill its prey, just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me. It was a very good competition. I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua can't get him out of there in one round. Dave Portnoy had made a comment before the fight. He said, I like Jake. I wish well for Jake. Of course I'm taking Joshua. And then Portnoy made his point. And he said, because I believe in boxing. This isn't if I'm cheering for Jake or if I think that Joshua's more experienced or better. I believe in boxing. I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot